Hello everyone, welcome back. This is part 2 of our Darkstar game. The intro audio got corrupted in the live stream that I did the other day for part 1 of this game, so I would just like to remind everyone that this game, Darkstar, is designed by James Johnson, who goes by the handle of Oriskany in the Beasts of War forums. Please look for the link. The game is free and available for download. And watch Oriskany's Let's Play video where he actually explains the rules much better. I may at some later date do a review of the game or a how to play if that's something of interest. But for right now, let's go back to our game. So when last we played this, we were in the resolution phase for turn 2, and I just noticed that we skipped over the launching of torpedoes phase. So let's do launching the torpedoes and then we'll get back to the resolution phase. Since we already know that a couple of these ships are already disabled, we're going to skip missile launch for those, because once the ships are disabled, they lose active fire control. So the missiles become useless. So let's do Natsugumo and Yamagumo missiles, because those can still be launched. So let's take a look here at Natsugumo. Natsugumo has port and bow torpedo launchers, port bow and starboard bow. So it's they can clearly launch both tubes, so that's going to be 4 torpedoes. I got some torpedo icons right here. Let's copy one. Okay, so these are 4 torpedoes coming off the Natsugumo, and I'm going to put here who's controlling them in case another ship gets knocked out. So let's make it smaller, and we place them in the same hex where they were launched. Let's look now at, which one is it? Yeah, it's Yamagumo. Now Yamagumo only has visible targets on their port bow according to the fields of fire. So is this correct? Let me verify once again. Yes, it's only the starboard bow actually. So there's only 2 tubes that can launch. So our second, we're going to label oops, that's not it. Let's put 2 torpedoes, Yamagumo. Show the nameplate, and let's reduce it a little bit inside and place it next to the ship that launched them. So let's move these American torpedoes closer, because I think the Americans have better firing positions. Let's take a look. So Grissom has everybody in sight, and again Grissom has class 4 torpedoes, so we're going to launch our torpedoes right here. It's a little bit weird. I think I didn't mark them for the last. That may have been a mistake. I realized I did a couple of mistakes last game session, but nothing much we can do right now. So that's 4 torpedoes from the Grissom. So let's move these torpedoes to the Grissom. Now the Aldrin can only see the enemy Let's take a look here and see where exactly. Yeah, it's the diagonal. So they only have starboard torpedoes to fire, and so does the Ticonderoga. Do they have them flanked? Well, actually, they do have them on broadsides. But no, the torpedoes do not work like broadsides. I think they only go by what they can actually see. So we'll have the Aldrin just launch some torpedoes off the starboard side. So that's 2. And Ticonderoga can only launch 3 from the starboard bow. Okay, still it's could be better, but I suppose it's okay. Now, this is something I may have to check with Oriskany and just verify that if I have them broadsided, can I launch torpedoes or not? I'm going to go with no for this one, but we'll find out if that is correct or not at some later point. Let's show the nameplates. So I got, it's not 5 torpedoes from the Grissom, come on. It's 4 torpedoes from the Grissom. There we go. Okay, so it's 4 from Natsugumo, 4 from Grissom, 2 from Yamagumo, 3 from Ticonderoga, and 2 from Aldrin. Okay, I think that is the correct torpedo spread for everyone. So let's go back to the resolution phase. We had done most of our resolution except to mark damaged systems. Now, Natsugumo is unscathed and untouched. So now we need to look at Yamagumo, who was hit, and let's start marking those damages. Now, let's start over here. We know the crew has been hit, so there's 1 core box hit. Let's note it here just in case. And we'll look up the percentages at some later point. Actually, we can do that right now. This is a frigate, and each core damage is 30%. So we can mark 30% here. If they get hit again, we'll just add on top of that. And no critical boxes were hit. So now let's look. The shields were hit. So that means that the port bow shields are gone. The mast driver of the starboard quarter is hit. So that means that the mast driver system is damaged. One of the hangars is gone. Bow weapons are gone. How many emplacement of bow weapons do I have? I only have 1 emplacement of bow weapons. So that means that our bow weapons are completely destroyed. So this is quite crippling. She only has the torpedoes left, actually, so it's a good thing that she launched, because after this she's lost all her weapons. She only has those torpedo launchers left. We lose another mast driver. And the port hangar. So I think that's it for Yamagumo. That's quite a lot of damage. Asagumo is crippled. All right, Natsugumo's okay. So now let's look at the American side. Let's start with the Aldrin is okay. Grissom just lost forward hangar and port hangars and some cargo. So that means they can't take back in the scouts. So that's not too bad. Let's look at the Ticonderoga, which is quite hurt. Now, if we can go, let's go by systems here. So starting from the back, 2 engines hit, but the engine block is not completely gone. In order for it to affect the systems, it has to be both boxes in the vertical orientation, not diagonal, because this is one engine and this is the other. However, we can see that we lost a mass driver. So mass driver is down. Let's start going up. We got another mass driver hit. We got shields hit at the starboard bow. So we lose our shields here. Shields. Cargo doesn't matter. Okay, now starboard weapons and starboard weapons. Now that means that the torpedo launcher is now gone. Starboard torpedo launchers. Again, this damage takes place after launch, so it's a good thing we launched those torpedoes when we did. Magazine is gone. We just note that the number of critical boxes that were hit and the number of core boxes that were hit. We already roll for that, so it's not an issue at this time. Now we lose both bow weapons, so that means that all the bow weapons are lost. So we lose all the rail guns, and we lose the bow laser as well. This is not good at all, but at least we got some rail guns left and 1 laser and the torpedo launchers. So it's down to torpedoes for this ship, basically. Let's see what else do we lose. We lose maneuver and we lose sensors. So when we lose a maneuver component, thrust will now cost +1 for each turning maneuver that we do. So let's add do this, +1. No, it's not gonna take it. Let's do that again. There, that's how we note that. So now it's going to cost an extra thrust even to roll over the ship, but every turn is also more costly, and we lose sensors. For each component of the sensor hits, it goes to -1. So let's mark it here. It means that the advantage of the CIC is basically now negated by the sensor damage penalties. Sensors, maneuvers, mass drivers, shields, weapons, and port bow weapons. Well, we already lost all the... Oh wait, we do have torpedoes left, but we still have a box for torpedoes. So... you know, I say that we keep that. We should take a penalty, though. This is something I have to ask Oriskany about. Well, we already lost all the bow weapons. You know what? Let's knock it out, just in case. Better err on the side of a little too much damage. Hopefully, the rest of the destroyers can make up for the damage that the Ticonderoga has suffered. So I think that's it for the damage to the Tyke. Did we do the system damage for the others? I think we did. So now, having gone down to the resolve and record effects of damage components, I think we now go back to the top of the round and we start over with initiative. Okay, so let's do our initiative rolls. Go back to the Japanese side. Now only the Yamagumo and Natsugumo will be rolling initiative. So let's just roll red and white. for the Japanese side, and it's 4 in each dice. And these, well, let's make sure we have the correct ship because some are injured. Yamagumo is hit. Is this the Yamagumo? This is the Yamagumo. Here we go. So, thrust of 7, no thrust penalties. And 4 for initiative is a score of 11. Let's start just to here. Yamagumo at 11 and Natsugumo is also at 11. Let's look at the American side and let's roll that red, white, and blue. So it's red for the it's 3 for the Ticonderoga plus 6 is a 9 initiative. Grissom rolls a 2 plus that's another 9. And Aldrin has a roll of 11. All right. So right then we have a couple of tiebreakers we need to do. So I'm going to roll d6s just to break the tie between Yamagumo, Natsugumo, and Grissom. And I'm going to say that, no, wait, Aldrin. And I'm going to say the blue die is the Americans. So the American actually wins the initiative. All right. So Aldrin goes to the top of the list. Let's call his initiative 12 just in case. And then the rest of the scores, they're just tied by side. So it doesn't really matter who moves. Because the opposition will see exactly where they go. So we have our initiative, and then we go on to our movement phase. And we start with the worst roll, but the first thing that moves are disabled ships. So we got Asagumo and Arashio disabled. Let's look at their velocities. Arashio had a velocity of 10. Let's zoom the map out and let's hide the dice roller. Oops, zoomed that out a little bit too much. That's better. So Arashio moves 10. Oh, this is still too small. I need to zoom this out a little bit. Okay, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Still on the battlefield. Yamagumo. Not Yamagumo, Asagumo. Has a velocity of 7. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so those are our disabled ships. So the next lowest score is the Grissom and the Ticonderoga. That's unfortunate. Let's look at Grissom. See what kind of velocity Grissom has. You know what? I'm going to roll a tiebreaker for Grissom and the Ticonderoga just to keep it honest. See who goes first. I'm going to say Ticonderoga is blue. Okay, so actually Grissom loses, so Grissom does move now. Has a velocity of 4. And Natsugumo's perfectly healthy, and Yamagumo's not bad. It's not badly hurt. So, decisions. So Grissom at a velocity of 4, the turning is costs 1. Okay, so I think I know what I want to do. I want to do 3 turns. 1, 2, 3 turns. And I want to do 3 turns. I have a thrust of 7 at a velocity of 4. So if I increase that velocity to 5, then I can, well, you know what, I'm just going to keep the same velocity and just do the 3 turns. And those extra 4 points, I don't think I'm going to do much with them. So Grissom goes 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then does a Crazy Ivan, I guess. If anybody remembers Hunt for Red October. Let's put the marker here. Let's note the final velocity for the Grissom. Oh, the initiative score was 9 anyway. Final velocity remains at 4. Do I want to accelerate for the next turn? Sure. At the end of the movement, I consumed 3 points, so I have 4 left over. So I could go to a velocity of 7 in the next round and take advantage of that maneuverability. So that's what I'm going to do with Grissom. Now, the next one to move is the Ticonderoga. Let's look at the Tyke. She has a velocity of 5, and turning just became more difficult. So has 6 thrust points. At a velocity of 5, each turn is 2. So a complete attitude change is going to be, each turn is going to be 2. So she could make 3 turns at this velocity, moving 5. That's not too shabby. So, do I want to do my 3 turns? Okay, I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 2 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then turn. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go 1, 2. No, wait, this is not 2. This is just first turn. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then do second turn. So I have done 2 turns, and that's 4 points. And I have 2 points left over. And I am going to roll the ship to present my least damage side to the enemy. Oh wait, do I really want to keep facing the enemy? Yeah, I'm just going to do that. But then I'm going to roll the ship. So the ship is going to be inverted. Let's place a marker to indicate that the ship is inverted. Yeah, let's use this one for inverted ship. Here we go. Oops, not what I meant to do. Cancel, and there we go. So this is a Ticonderoga here now. presenting the less damage side to the enemy. And her velocity remains at 5 for the next turn. All right, so now we move on to Natsugumo. So Natsugumo is unhurt and is moving at a velocity of 10. Wow, that's quite a lot. Now a velocity of 10 means that each turn takes 3 points of thrust. And off my targets, Grissom is the one who is hurt the worst. So I think Natsugumo wants to reduce speed. How much velocity can we dump here? If we dump 2 points of velocity, we fall down to 8. Okay, so let's decelerate to 8 by spending 2 points of velocity. That means that at a velocity of 8, I still have enough points to do 2 turns. And I don't need to roll, so I can do 2 turns. You know what? I could reduce velocity to 7 then. And spend that last point. So let's go down to 7 and see if I can do 2 turns, as I said, and get in better position. So I should split the difference. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Then do 2 turns. And then go 1, 2, 3, 4. And hope. You know what? Let's do that again. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. And I think that's a better firing arc, hopefully, at the end of the day. Here's Natsugumo, and that's their movement. So, next on the list, we have Yamagumo. Now, Yamagumo is moving at a velocity of... didn't record it, so I'm going to assume it's still 7. Oh, no, wait, the velocity, yeah, it's 7. That's exactly what it is. So, I did record it. That's good. So... velocity of 7, no penalties to turn. So at a velocity of 7, I can do 3 turns. I could even maybe accelerate or save that final point to... Oh, wait. First thing we got to figure out is that the Yamagumo needs to leave the battlefield. So because it failed the what's the name of the roll? It faced the core damage factor roll, so the crew has lost morale and they have to go. So the first thing we need to do is identify the nearest map corner, because they are compelled to leave via the nearest mass corner, which in this case it's the upper right hand corner. So they need to move and they cannot decelerate. So let's bring it back to a decent tactical size. And they gotta make that corner. So they're in a good direction right now. And with a velocity of 7, they can make a turn and they can accelerate. So I think that's what they want to do. I think they want to move as far as they can and leave the torpedoes to do their dirty work for them. So I want to make one turn. And so I want to increase my velocity. So if I increase my velocity, turning is going to cost me 3 points. So I have 4 points that I can spend to increase my velocity and take my velocity up to 11. Yay. So that is what Yamagumo is going to do. Take it up to 11 and then use the final 3 points to make a turn. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oops, let's flip it around first. 9, 10, 11. So Yamagumo is leaving the battlefield, but hasn't quite yet gotten away. Now I feel that that's in the spirit of the game, right? Try to get out of the battlefield as fast as you can. We'll see about shooting weapons because they still retain enough control to actually shoot. So finally, the last movement goes to the Aldrin. And let's see what we have. Now Aldrin is moving at a velocity of 4. And Aldrin is unhurt. So Aldrin has 7 points at a velocity of 4. He can actually do one facing change for each point. So velocity of 4. Let's look at Aldrin's weapons here. So he has bow, stern, bow, stern. So the best thing to do in this circumstance would be to broadside Natsugumo. I think that's probably the safest thing. Broadside Natsugumo. And maybe I can do that while getting out of the way of the... Oh, well, I'll worry about Yamagumo later. For now, I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, and broadside him for here, and present my forward. Do I want to present my forward or my port quarter to him? Port is easier to get damage on. Because I want to bring my stern weapons to bear, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. If I move 5, then I'm presenting the port quarter. Might blow up my ship. But if I do, I think I'm out of the range of the Yamagumo in any case. I'm going to risk it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the movement of 4, I'll be able to do that. Just one turn here. 1, 2, and one turn here. So that would be a second turn. Let's do it. And it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I have Natsugumo lined up for a nice close-up broadside. Okay, so this concludes movement for our warships. Let's take a look now. It should be aerospace movement. So each side needs to roll for initiative. Again, red is going to be the Japanese. So the Japanese lose the initiative, so they will be moving first. Now, let's see. Let's zoom this in a little bit more, because everybody's nice and within range of each other now. Let's do this so I can open up my... Okay, that's good enough. So, move warship torpedoes. So Japanese torpedoes, they're all still active. Now who do I want to hit? Let's see. I think I want to try and kill Ticonderoga. So I am going to move the Japanese torpedoes, which have enough movement to just go around and enter because she is inverted, and enter through that starboard bow. It's risky because I might miss the bridge, but it's probably worth it. You know what? I could do 4 torpedoes on one side and 2 on the other, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Hit 2 from the side and then 2 from the back. You know what? The back is already injured. Let's go to the back. Let's put all our torpedoes on the back, like so. Now we move the other torpedoes, and let's see. Natsugumo is doing well, I believe. Yeah, Natsugumo is unhurt. So I'm going to move all my torpedoes and try and take care of Natsugumo, because Yamagumo is gone the next round. It's leaving the battlefield. So all torpedoes are going to the back hex of... I'll put them all here because this area is getting a little bit crowded. But we know that all are coming in through the stern. Okay, so torpedoes moved. Now we move the ships. So I think our scouts move then back to Natsugumo to protect from those torpedoes, although that is a Hail Mary kind of thing, but it's worth it. And then these scouts are going to protect Ticonderoga. Okay, so now we have moved our warships and our aerospace fighters. And now we go on to aerospace combat. Now the first thing we do is resolve anti-aerospace mass driver fire. So this includes torpedoes. So of course everyone is using everything they can against those torpedoes. Now let's start with Natsugumo, because Natsugumo is all alone over there. And see how her mass drivers handle. Now I did the whole mass driver torpedo thing incorrectly in the last session, but since then I have had the wonderful opportunity to play with Oriskany, and we got a chance to go over these torpedo mass driver rules. So we've got 9 torpedoes incoming, and we got a mass driver number of 10. So let's open up a gameplay chart. Here we go. So we're rolling on the 10 line, and now we got to figure out the modifiers for this. We have a CIC bonus to the torpedoes, although it is not noted on the... Let's look at it again. Does say CIC bonus. Oh no, wait, that would be... No, yeah, that would be... they do have 10 plus 1. All right, so they have a plus 1 for that. And that's it. They're only targeting. So I roll a d6 plus 1 to see how many I knock down, and I'm using this line. Okay. So, yep, that's it. Let's roll our our D6 here, +1. So it's a 5 +1. That's a very good hit. So that takes care of 5 torpedoes. So it knocks out 5 of those torpedoes. And these 2 are gone. And these 3 are gone. So there's still 4 torpedoes incoming. But we have some scouts. Let's have those scouts try to take those torpedoes out. Now we look at the scouts. And the intercept number for scouts is 6 minus the torpedo class, which is 4. So that's 2. They're looking for 2s or less. And we have a total of 4 scouts. So I roll D10s looking for 2s or less. Let me get this D6. Where is it? There we go. 2s or less to intercept torpedoes, and no torpedoes are intercepted. So those 4 torpedoes will be going through to the Grissom. But before we resolve that, let's go to our mass driver defense for the Ticonderoga. Now the Ticonderoga is presently working with a mass drivers of 10 because she's taken some serious hits. She does have the +1 bonus from CIC. So it's 10 +1. No, that's not a work. We're still using the 10 number on the chart. That's how that works. Turn number on the chart. But I get a +1 on my die roll. So let's do missile defense. And that is a 3 +1 is a 4. So looking at our table, that knocks out 3 incoming torpedoes. I'm going to take these 2 from the Yamagumo, and I'm going to reduce this one to 3 incoming torpedoes. All right, but we are not done because we have assistance from the Gus Grissom. Her mass drivers can knock out those incoming torpedoes. So she is 2 hexes away. So let's see what her mass drivers are like. So she's rolling 11s at +1. It's still the same table, correct? Yeah, it is. It's still rolling on the same table, but it's at +1. And she is 2 hexes away, so that's at -1. So it washes out. It's just a straight roll. So here we go. Come on. Roll high. That is a 4 for the assistance from Grissom. And looking at the table, a 4 is enough to take out 3 torpedoes. So anti-aircraft fire manages to kill the last torpedoes threatening Ticonderoga. And that is very, very good news. So now that we've done that point defense, so now we're going to do torpedo hits. Now these are coming from the Grissom. And the Grissom, I believe, has +1 to their torpedoes. So the basic torpedo to hit numbers for class 4s is 8. So it's 8 +1 is 9 from the CIC, but the defending ship Natsugumo, let's see what her shields are like. She's got aft shielding of 4. So we're looking at 9 minus 4. We're looking at 5s to hit. and that's 4 torpedoes. So I'm rolling, and we're looking at 5s or less. Ooh. So we're getting 3 torpedo hits. Only one of the torpedoes actually misses. So let's look at Natsugumo. These are class 4 torpedoes, which go 3 deep and then burst outward. And let's do hit locations for those torpedoes. Let's roll 3d6s and, divide them by 2. This is hits on 1. 3 is divided by 2. This is box number 2. So I'm going to flip it so I remember which box it is. And this is box number 3. Oh, so we got a nice 1, 2, 3 pattern here. So let's do the number 1 first. Why not? So let's see. This goes 3 deep. Let's have our other torpedoes here ready. Now, it goes 3 deep, and torpedoes also do 1 box to the side, going toward the outboard side. So this damage is lost. I'm just marking it here so you know how that works. Same thing happens with torpedo that hits on number 3, and one of these damage boxes would go to this side, right? So it's still lost. And then the third torpedo would go in the middle, and the splash damage would go to one of these sides. So, those are already hit. So it's not too bad. So this is really good. We blew off the entire rear armor, stern armor for the Natsugumo. We took out all 3 of its engines. That's going to be interesting. And those are critical hits. So that's an interesting thing to see. So hopefully we can hit her. I don't know if we can hit her on the stern approach anymore, but we've done some decent damage here. So let's get rid of these torpedoes. Now, this makes me think that I should have perhaps put my torpedoes into the port quarter and softened the port quarter up for the follow-up energy weapons discharge that everyone else is going to lever on the Natsugumo. But you know what? I'm not going to complain. We hit 3 critical boxes. So yeah, I'm happy with that attack. So now we go on to warship combat. So maybe I should go with Yamagumo first, because Yamagumo is the farthest away. So I don't even know what Yamagumo is going to do. Let's take a look at Yamagumo's status right now, because, Yamagumo lost her bow weapons. So that is not good for Yamagumo. All she has are the torpedoes, and those are already away. So Yamagumo's not doing much. Now we have Natsugumo has bow weaponry. So let's take a look at our fields of fire real quick. All right, so from this hex diagonally down, she can hit everything. So let's make sure what her targets are. So yeah, she can hit anybody. So her options are to go for the closest fire, and I think that's what she's going to do. She's trying to take the Buzz Aldrin with her when she dies. So I'm going to leverage all this fire against Aldrin at a range of 1. So that is an 11 to hit plus 1 from CIC is 12 to hit. And I believe Aldrin has 4 on her shields. Yep, and they're coming in through the starboard bow. So it's 12 minus 4. She's looking at 8s or less on the die. And we're firing 2 plasmas and 2 lasers. So let's do that. Lasers are going to be in blue. Plasmas are going to be in red. Oops. And here we go. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I need D10s. This is what I wanted to do. 8 or less. So here we go. Okay, so this one rolls a 10. It doesn't hit. So we have both lasers hitting and only one of the plasma. Thank God. Because the plasma is doing 5 at this range and lasers are doing 2. So now it's 1 plasma, and let's do the hit locations. I believe this is the right die. Let's make sure. Yep, Aldrin has 3 possible hit locations. Now the 3s are actually the number 2 box, so let me flip them to the number 2 box so I remember. And the 5 is actually the number 3 box. So I have flipped it over so I don't forget. Of course, the plasma is going to hit first. And let us look at the damage profile for the plasma. So it's plasma 5. It's going to hit 3 boxes and then 2 boxes. So, and it always splashes outboard. But the plasma hits on the 2. So it's going to hit 3 boxes. Oops. Three boxes, and then it's going to hit 2 more boxes, but on the outside, like this. So that is the plasma impact. Now we got 2 lasers coming in, and the lasers are hitting, what do we say, 2? Yes, 2 each. So the first laser goes in at the 2 box, and it goes too deep. So it hits sensors, maneuvering thrusters, and starboard weapons. And the other one hits the 3 box, and it hits like so. It only hits the shields, but it's not bad because now that area is severely weakened. Of course, this is all the attacks that Natsugumo is getting. And now we go over to the American side. And let's start with that broadside from Boss Aldrin, just to do instant karma here. And let's look at what Buzz can do. So from this range, we're looking at a broadside with the 11s to hit. +1 is 12. And Natsugumo's shields in her port quarter might be stronger. Nope, it's just a 4. So it's 12 minus 4. We're looking for 8s on the dice. Now, what can she bring to bear? Well, it's basically 4 of those 9 Terrabolt EPCs. So they're all EPCs, so it doesn't matter which die I roll. I'm looking for 8s or less. It's all the same damage. 8 or less. So this one doesn't hit, but the other 3 hit. 8s or less. Yeah, the other 3 hit. So now let's do some damage box locations. They're doing 3 points of damage each. Here's Natsugumo. She's getting hit on the port quarter. Now 3 boxes each. Okay, this goes on the 3 box. This goes on the 3 box. And this goes on the 1 box. And I do believe that those particle cannons just basically go 3 deep. Yep, they go 3 deep. And so, yep, 3 hits. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Let's do the number 1 box first. So it's the port quarter. So that hits sensors and maneuvers. Not bad. And now we hit the number 3 box. Oh, this is great. So this is the first strike. Goes in, takes out point defense, and the second one just goes right through and hits all, 3 reactors and the aft shielding. So this is really bad for this ship. Now it has 6 critical boxes marked. That's going to be an interesting resolution phase. Okay, so that's it for Buzz Aldrin, and let's go with the rest of the American ships. So let's do Gus Grissom now. So Grissom can only bring the... because Grissom doesn't have a broadside. So Grissom can hit with the bow weapons only. And let's move it a little bit, like, let's magnify a little bit more. Make it 80%. Move it to this side and then bring this up. There we go. So now let's check that range. Goes from center to center. Okay, so this is very important. Look that I'm coming in center to center. So that means that I am actually hitting through the port quarter as well. So, I do extra damage over there. That's pretty cool. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes. All right, so at the 5 hex range, we're looking at the third bracket. So it's 9 plus 1 is 10 minus shielding of 4 is 6. So I'm looking at 6s or less on the dice. And I'm rolling basically 2 of the weapons only. Looking for 6s or less. Let's see if I hit. All right, so I have only 1 hit. And at the third range bracket, that damage is 2 points. Okay. So 2 points is good. 2 points of damage for Natsugumo. Let's see where that damage goes. It goes in the number 2 section. Okay. I'm just burning off some more armor here. Like that, but I don't actually hit anything else. Fortunately, we still got the Ticonderoga. Let's see if the Ticonderoga can do anything. Let's figure out the range for the Ticonderoga. So from the center to the center, again, it's coming in through the port quarter of the Natsugumo, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexes, but I think she doesn't have any weapons left. Ticonderoga does not have any bow weapons working, so that concludes the actual combat. Let's see. Now we launch torpedoes is what we can do. So who can launch torpedoes? That is the big question. So let's look at Yamagumo. Her torpedoes are bow weapons. So I don't think Yamagumo can even see anybody at this distance because bow weapons go up to here. Let me put the arrow here. So they go straight down this hex line. That's as far back as she can see. So she cannot bring her torpedo launchers to bear. Now, Natsugumo can certainly bring her torpedoes, so she can fire her torpedoes. Question is, does she have any torpedo launchers left? She does have, so she's going to launch 2 torpedoes. Do I still have my old torpedoes here? No, I destroyed them all. Okay, let's get some new torpedoes here. Class 5 torpedoes. Oops, it's the red ones. Class 5 torpedoes. Oops, it's a little bit slow. Oh, there we go. Class 5s. So I'm gonna just name 2 torpedoes here. Make changes and resize. And place them in my hex. And that's it for Natsugumo. Now let's look at the Americans. So it's clear that Grissom can bring all of her torpedoes to bear, so she's going to fire a full spread. Oops, and I didn't mark the Natsugumo. I'll put it like this. This is a full spread. And before I proceed, I should mark the Natsugumo as having fired her torpedoes because those torpedoes run out. And this was on the port side, and she probably launched at the first round, but I just forgot to get it down. It doesn't matter now. So Grissom launched the full spread, and that's 4 torpedoes. And I'm using orange for the Americans. So I'm going to copy that and paste a couple more. Because I think all American ships can launch. So we said 4 torpedoes for Grissom. Let's put him as 4. For Grissom. Go nameplate, save changes, reduce inside, put them here. Let's look at Boss Aldrin. Can only bring 2 torpedoes to fire. Let's mark him first. Aldrin is again only firing the starboard torpedoes. So that's 2 more. Aldrin. Reduce it a bit. Oh, forgot to check the nameplate. And put him next to the Aldrin, right here. And finally, does the Ticonderoga have anything they could do? Nope, the Tike's torpedoes are gone as well. Ticonderoga is hurting. So, but she's still alive. So that's it for torpedoes, actually. So now we move on to damage resolution phase, and it's going to be interesting. Let's look at Natsugumo first. So Natsugumo received some serious damage this round. Let's go through the damage checklist first. So it's ship explosions. Check for potential explosions. She's got to do that. We need to look at the red boxes. So she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the red boxes. Let's look at the chart. Now when she is a frigate, so we're using this line of text. Let's shrink it down a little bit. Okay, so it's frigate. Now she starts with a 6. And did I say we had 6 boxes marked? I think I did. Natsugumo has 6 red boxes marked. So that means that 6 minus 6 is 0. So you always roll more than a 0 on a d6. So she's automatically disabled. Now the question is, does she explode? And the answer is no, because to explode she has to have less than 0. So if she had taken 1 more red box, there was probably a 100% chance she would explode. Or actually, I don't think that's how that works. I think it's just 1 per number below 0. So if she had taken 1 more, it would have been a 35% chance to explode. I don't know. I'll have to check that with Oriskany, because if not, it's an automatic explosion. If she takes it, might be an automatic explosion. Anyway, I'll check with Oriskany later. So that's it. That's it. She's out of combat because the next step is to check CIC, see if CIC is filled in. And the answer is no, the bridge is not filled in. But the next one is to check the cripple number, which is that 0 that I showed you. So that's an automatic cripple. So let's mark now the ship as disabled. And I'll do my little trick here with the orange square. I'm going to change it to red. It's going to look more dramatic, I think. And there we go. Now we know that she's disabled. She hasn't really exploded, but she is gone. You know what? I could have used mass fire against the scouts from the boss Aldrin. It doesn't matter, really. I'm not going to go back and do redos, right? It's learning mistakes. So she is disabled and loses control of the torpedoes. So the torpedoes are gone. And let's look at the American ships this round. So Ticonderoga was not hit this round. She managed to shoot down all the torpedoes against her. Grissom did not get hit, but Aldrin suffered some damage. Let's see if she took anything serious here. She did not. Now, combat is done because all the enemy ships are disabled, but let's just for the sake of practice do a little damage maintenance here. Copy this, and let's make a few copies of this. And now let's see. So, she lost her shields. Boom. And she lost sensors and maneuvering thrusters. So sensors at -1. And then starboard weapons are out. So does that include my mass drivers or no? Starboard weapons is actually my torpedo launcher. So my torpedoes are out. And that's it, right? Shields, sensors, and that's it. No core boxes hit. So that's it for the American forces. Yeah, so I think that adjudicates all the damage. All right, so after we've logged in the damage, we would begin the 4th round. And here's the thing, no matter what initiative we roll, the Japanese ships are mostly disabled except for Yamagumo. So with the current velocities, in the movement phase, all of the Japanese ships would simply leave the map. So that means that no matter what the American forces do, they can't position themselves for a final, strike in case they wanted to continue to try and disable Yamagumo, because Yamagumo was not disabled, they just decided to leave the battlefield. But with the current velocities, they all leave in the movement phase, so that effectively ends the game. Now, as for the type of victory, the Americans completely destroyed the Japanese side, so that is a decisive victory for the American side. Now, we're supposed to go through each ship and roll on this table. If we look at... Let's magnify that a little bit. For frigates, here with the blue line, you see that for frigates, the chance to ship recovery for those ships who were disabled during the battle, it depends on the wind condition, right? So they are the losing side. So we're looking for 4s or less to recover the ship. Otherwise, it is lost. So this is a fun part of the game. Let's start with Arashio. Let's roll, show the dice roller. So let's roll first to see if the ship is recovered or not. So the ship is recovered. That's a 4, correct. So Arashio does get recovered by her side. Let's see, next is Asagumo. Asagumo is lost because it does not hit the 4s. Now we roll a second d10 to determine how exactly the ship is lost. So here we go. So let me take some notes. Arashio is recovered. Asagumo is lost, and that 2 on the d10 indicates that the ship was scuttled. Interesting. Let's go on to the next ship. Let's do the Natsugumo. So Natsugumo is also lost, and on the table it's a 3, so the Natsugumo is scuttled as well. And finally, let's roll for Yamagumo. Yamagumo is recovered. So the next thing we check is this interesting table. The captain survival table. This is if the ship is lost only. So, you know, the Arashio was recovered. So the Arashio's captain, Captain Moritsugu, is rescued. He doesn't... Wait, let me check. Yeah, the bridge was hit, though. Let me verify the ship being... the bridge being hit is... Actually, it says that, you know, all CIC boxes hit. So... Let's roll. Let's roll to see if he survives the destruction of the bridge. And he gets a 5, so he does survive. He doesn't die in the explosion of the... Not the explosion, but the destruction of the bridge. So he manages to escape. Let's note here, alive. Let's move this off to the side a little bit. There we go. That's good enough. Okay, so now let's do Asagumo. Now Asagumo, we said, is lost and scuttled. So let's check. See, the Asagumo bridge was also hit. So we go in descending order in the captain survival table. So it didn't explode and it didn't collide. But all CIC boxes were hit. So let's see if Captain Tsuburaya of the Asagumo survived. That is a 3, so he did survive the destruction of the bridge, but let's see, the ship was scuttled, so now we need to roll a d8 to see if he survives. Oops, I can't see the die. That is a D3, so he does indeed survive, and he gets away. Tsuburaya escapes. Now let's see Yamagumo. Yamagumo's bridge is not hit, but... Hang on, we just did Asagumo. We're doing Yamagumo was recovered, so, and the bridge was not hit, so he is alive. And finally, we do Natsugumo. Natsugumo's bridge was not hit, but Natsugumo was scuttled as well. So 1d8 to survive, and that is a 9. So actually, Captain Yuriko Hishimi dies in the process of scuttling the ship. Maybe while setting the charges, her lifeboat it gets caught in the explosion, and she does not survive. So, why is this important? Because there is a campaign mode for the game which hasn't been fully published yet, but I have high hopes that it will be. All ships who participated in the battle gain 1 campaign point, which can be used to purchase upgrades. The winning side gets an additional 1 point per ship, so that's 6 campaign points to the Americans total, and 4 points to the Japanese side for the battle. And that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching, and for those who have made it this far, this is a very fun game. It's highly reminiscent of the Honor Harrington novels, if you're familiar with those. If not, check them out. Excellent naval fiction in space. Or the Lost Fleet by Jack Campbell, I think is his last name. Also a good series. All this is reminiscent of that, and of course the main inspiration, Space Battleship Yamato, or Star Blazers as one would know it. And that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.